Hello, I'm Devin. Welcome to my YouTube channel, where I invite you into my relatively messy office to talk about, well, a lot of the analog productivity tools that I use to keep myself on track, to try to keep my brain clear, and to keep up with my busy life. Today, I want to talk about one of the core bundles that I know when I use it, I have a great day of work. And when I don't use it, I look back and find that oftentimes it's not been so hot. So, let's dive right in. We are, of course, in my Everbook. And inside my Everbook, we're going to look at the bundle that I call the Captain's Log and Inbox. Now, I've mentioned this in other videos that I've chosen symbols for each of my major bundles that I use. And in this case, I chose one that's very similar to the command line interface. Why? Because CLI on my computer, it's the command line interface. On my Everbook, that is the Captain's Log and Inbox. So, the Captain's Log. I expect for some of you, this is not a new idea. However, I'm going to walk through it because it was revolutionary when I first heard it, and I hope maybe perhaps for some people watching this video, it might be likewise very helpful. Inside of the Captain's Log, each sheet of paper is dated for one day. And so I'll just make one today. So I put my symbol in the corner, and then I write the date, which today is Friday, February 13th, 2026. That's step one. Now, before I begin the log, this is going to be the sheet of paper that I have out on my desk all day long today. And so, anything that needs to be on my radar today, I put it right here. And so, first I might think of some tasks. So one might be, I'm just thinking, I was just in one of our bathrooms and there's a lot of kids' dirty laundry in there. So, I might say, retrieve laundry. It's a reminder for later today. Maybe I have an event, and so just to remember that this thing's happening tonight, I do a circle, pulling from some old bullet journal symbolism, and say dinner with Smiths, just this, and I'll say at 6 p.m. for example. Just a little brain dump, and I usually don't write this big, but I hope it's useful for the video. You know, more tasks, more. If I have a note, I might say here, don't give Kay so much yogurt. That's real. I served one of my daughters way too much yogurt, and my wife sent me a picture that said, hey, this was too much. She didn't eat it all. So, just a little note to help me remember that. Okay, now I've done a little brain dump. I've got a lot of info down at the top of my Captain's Log. Now it's actually time to start logging. Now, another name for this discipline is Interstitial Journaling. You'll see this picked up in lots of different formats. It's certainly something that I know Carol Ryder has picked up for his bullet journaling. It's kind of one of his key recommendations for how the daily log is done. And this is essentially the same paradigm, just we're doing it in an Everbook, not in a notebook with the pages bound. So we begin by writing down what time it is. And I'll just go ahead and write down the real time. It is 8:52 a.m. I always just say A, right tagged onto the number, because I really feel like writing AM and PM. Like, why are we adding extra periods in the M? If I write 8:52 we all know what that is. Alright, here we go. 8:52. Step 1 for making an entry, you just write down, what did you just do? And I know what I just did is, did today's morning brain dump. Boom. Okay, and now I write, what am I going to do next? And so, in this case, I'll pretend that what I'm intending to do next is reviewing, I always write it in the continuous, reviewing email inboxes for priority messages. And so by that I mean I'm going to go through all my inboxes and just instead of filtering through all of the emails, I'm just going to do a quick check to see if there's anything that's come in that I need to really prioritize and get done right away instead of, I don't know, just something I might do. So that's what I'm going to do. This is so helpful for me to remember what I'm doing to help me stay on task. I know that if I'm going to switch tasks, I need to come back to this sheet of paper and write an entry. And so notifications pop up, text messages come in, thoughts come to my mind, and I just say, no, I'm not willing to shift my focus right now. I'm going to stay focused on what I wrote down. Now, what I will do though is if I'm in the middle of reviewing these and something comes to mind as a to-do, and I go, okay, I do need to think about that, but I'm not going to break my flow, I will come right back to here and I'll maybe write it as a task. So let's say I was working on my email and it popped up, hey, you have to process a return for that thing on Amazon. So I'll say, press return Amazon. Okay, so I'm still focused, but I made that note. Great, maybe another note comes to mind. I'm writing and I just say, here we go. Don't buy so many notebooks next time. Yeah, just something that I wanted to write down. Okay, so that goes on, and let's say I'm done with my inboxes. I feel like I'm ready for my next thing. What I will often do is I pull out my next actions bundle, and if I don't have anything that I know is next, then I kind of review this, and I pick something from one of the lists. Then I come here, and I write, 9 a.m. Let's say that's my next entry. I write reviewed inboxes for priority emails. And I might make a subnote, didn't find any. And now I'm going to write, what am I doing next? I am preparing PC proposal presentation. And now I'm going to dedicate myself to stay focused on this task. And then I'm going to come up for air. Interstitial, just a note on the side, interstitial, usually I believe it means between, or in the spaces between, and so the idea is you come make entries in that transitionary moment from one task to the next. There's one more way that I will use this that I've found very helpful, and it's a combination of, if you're familiar with getting things done, it's a combination of the captain's log and the brain dump, plus the calendar feature of getting things done. And here's what I mean by that. So today, I'm filling this one out in real time today. But maybe something comes to mind that I need to do tomorrow. Let's see, tomorrow's Friday. What do I need to do on Friday? Wait, no, tomorrow's Saturday, excuse me. What do I need to do on Saturday? There's a big dinner, and maybe I need to prepare something for that dinner as my contribution. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pull this out. I'm just going to make a sheet for tomorrow. I'm going to use my symbol. I'm going to write Saturday, February 14th, 2026. It's Valentine's Day, so maybe I'll put a little heart up there. Very badly drawn heart. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say, prepare dish for Valentine's Day dinner. What else do I need to do? I need to give wife Valentine's Day gifts. Boom. All right, great. I've got some stuff there. Maybe I want to write a reminder that I've got B-Day dinner. Is it 6 p.m.? Whatever it is. All right, cool. Now, right, it's parked. It's parked there for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to grab out this piece of paper. That stuff's going to be there for me. And today I'm working here. And that's how it goes. The last thing I do, so on February 14th, this is obviously old. The first thing that happens is I put this in my physical in basket at the end of the day, so that the next morning I'm going to pull it out, look at it, collect any tasks that didn't get done into my GTD system. But then once this is all done, it's outlived its usefulness, I put it in the archive. This is everything from 2026 so far, and just so simple. I take the binder clip off, I open to the back, I slip this guy in, I close it, I put the binder clip back on, ta-da, and then I park this over with my other archival bundles. So if I ever need to go back, hey, what happened on whatever day? Boom, just pull this action open, I'll have my context of what happened that day. So that is the captain's log and inbox. So because it's a collection point for GTD, the capture step happens on these sheets of paper, or I'll throw it into this bundle if it's a separate thing that I need to capture. One of the reasons I love doing this in the Everbook instead of in a bullet journal is I do not need to worry about the page situation. So every day is its own piece of paper. What happens, let's just think of in a notebook context, and here I'll pull out this notebook. Here's a big notebook. It's totally blank in these pages, but let's just say I have my daily log from a bullet journal standpoint, and I have today's date, I write the 13th, and I'm writing, and I go, oh, something, I need to remember that thing for the next day. Well, what are my options? I could go to the monthly log and park it there. I could put it here with some kind of note alongside the task to say, this is actually a thing for tomorrow. Or I could, if I wanted to, come over here or come over here and make an entry for the next day. But now I've got this challenge of, if I get to the end of this page, well, I can't start here because this is the next day. So now I have to jump to a new page over here maybe, and now I pick it up. But now so the 13th is here and here, but the 14th is here. And then where's the 15th gonna go? It just gets so confusing if you need to juggle space like that. Whereas what I'm gonna do, let's just say, let me pull out that other piece of paper from the archive that I put away. Come here, archive. So pull that back out. Here we go. So I've got today that I'm working through, and I've got tomorrow and other subsequent days. What happens if well, first I'm going to flip the page over. And when I do that, I usually will number. So I'll just write 1, the corner there, 2, and then right. No, I filled up the second page too. Now what? Well, it's very simple. I'm just going to get a blank sheet of paper, and I'm going to write the date up here again. Oh, excuse me. Write my symbol, write the date, and then I'm going to write 3. And then 4. And now look, because these are loose leaf pieces of paper, February 13th just became a 4-page document, and I can keep those things together. And I just put the right headings on it so I know they always go together. Usually, before I archive it, before I stick it in the archive, if I've got multiple pages, I'll just give them a quick little staplerino. Bam! Boom, this is now a little booklet that represents that day. And it can go into my archive just fine. Ta-da! Can't really do that with the bullet journal. When you're working in a notebook where the pages are bound, you're stuck. And if you're working in a notebook that's like, whether it's the disc-bound notebook or a 3-ring binder or the 6-ring binders, you gotta punch holes in, man, and you gotta open the clips and put the clips. It's just all those extra steps. Whereas in the bullet journal, in the Everbook, I'm just grabbing a sheet of paper, putting the right heading on it, putting a page number, and just like keep it in order, and it's not that hard. Boom. It's great. It's flexible. I love it. Totally would recommend. It's especially good if you pair this up with a Pomodoro technique. I found it's just a way to have a powerhouse productive kind of a day. So I hope that's really useful for somebody out there keeping a captain's log or interstitial journaling or whatever you want to call it. Just little entries day by day. Stay focused. Do your brain dumps. Be productive. Enjoy. Take care.